Check out flipsidegaming.com for all your gaming needs. Use the promo code HEROES to save 10% on all orders over $10 and support the channel at the same time. Hey there, this is John from Heroes and Legends, and we have more Ixalan previews to look at. Yesterday was a huge day. I actually made 3 videos yesterday, 2 of them about Ixalan, the other one was about the banned and restricted list. But today there's even more cards to look at, so I want to get right into them. Quickly, before we get started though, if you check out the description below, you'll find a few ways to support us and help us keep doing what we're doing. One of which is the Amazon affiliate store. If you make any purchases via the links you see down there, a small percentage will come back for us. Also, you'll find Flipside Gaming has a link down there where they gave our viewers a promo code, which was really awesome. And then finally, you'll find our Patreon page linked below as well. With that being said, let's get into the cards. All right, we'll begin with a German language preview card, roughly translated, Deep Root Waters, a blue and 2 enchantment. Whenever you cast a Merfolk creature spell, create a 1/1 blue Merfolk creature token with hexproof. All right, so we got our Merfolk engine, and it's an uncommon too, which is actually pretty sweet. So what do we think about this card? Well, I don't like taking turn 3 off to play this and then not really doing anything. That doesn't feel good, but I do feel like if I'm all in on Merfolk plans, then I can go ahead and play this on turn 3, and I think the subsequent value will make up for it. So considering this is that uncommon, I might even be able to pick it up slightly later in a pack, especially pack 2 or pack 3, if maybe I'm the only one at the table at the draft that's into Merfolk. And if that's the case, yeah, this will be a great pickup. Hopefully you'll be able to get at least one of these considering its rarity. And yeah, it will be good in that style of deck. Same thing for sealed. If you open enough Merfolk, if you have enough targets for this, it's playable. If you don't, then you're going to omit it. What about standard? Could this be part of a standard Merfolk deck? I think it's just too early to tell. It's possible. Again, taking turn 3 off is painful, and it's going to be harder to pull off in standard compared to the limited games I mentioned before. But if there's enough support out there, this could be playable, so we'll have to wait and see. Now, I don't really see this crossing over into like Modern or Legacy Merfolk. I think those decks are just too tight and can't really use something like this. You don't want to remove anything that exists to put this in there, I don't think. But beyond that, maybe Standard and in the right limited deck could be really good. All right, next one is Old Growth Dryads. This costs a green. It's a Dryad. 3/3. Whenever this enters the battlefield, each opponent may search his or her library for a basic land card, put it onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. All right, I don't know what to think about this card. Like, I go back and forth a little bit. Yeah, I sure do want a 3/3 on turn 1. That'd be sweet. But I also don't want my opponent to search for a land and put it into play tapped. Like, the basic land coming in and giving away your advantage if you are on the play, say, doesn't feel good. It feels worse though if you're on the draw and you do this. So I started thinking about it, and I'm like, maybe when I actually sit down and play with this, what I want to try is perhaps, for limited purposes anyway, perhaps playing this card only when I'm on the play and boarding it out when I'm on the draw. And the reason I say that is if I'm on the play, I put down my turn 1 land, I play this. My opponent gets a free land. Then they go take their turn. They put down land number 2, and then I get my turn. I put down land number 2. So at least I'm staying at equilibrium with them. And it feels like I lost a card draw, basically. That's the drawback for getting this 3/3. It feels like I lost a card draw because I went first and didn't draw. But if I'm on the draw, then I'm really starting to fall behind land-wise, and that doesn't feel good to me. So I think that's what I'm going to try. I don't know if that's good or bad. I don't know if it's going to be good enough either way, or maybe the card's just good enough regardless. But this is a card that you really have to think about, right? And I think this is a really cool design. I like what they did here. Is the drawback so great that it's not worth playing it? Is the upside just pulling you in like a siren song, right? I guess we'll find out when we get hands-on this card for sure. All right, the next one comes to us from a Korean language spoiler. Again, roughly translated, it's something along the lines of welcome to the party. I hope that's what it's called anyway. A black and white and 2 sorcery, create 3 1/1 white vampire creature tokens with lifelink. So this is an uncommon that in the limited game is going to help you populate your vampire plan, basically. So if you're all in on vampires, this will be a really good pickup for you. And even if you're not, I mean, getting 3 1/1s with lifelink for 4 mana is still just good. Even if you're not doing anything else with vampires, like, you're going to be pretty pretty happy to do that just generally in a game of draft or sealed. So I think this is actually a pretty good draft pick for uncommon. Maybe not the first, just depends on what rare you get in the pack or something like that. But this could be a really high draft pick, maybe sometimes first pick. As for standard, I guess we'll just have to wait and see if the vampire deck is a thing, and if it is, can it afford to do something like this for 4 mana. Next we have Dead Eye Plunderers. This comes from a French language spoiler. This card is actually pretty impressive for an uncommon to me. This could have been a rare, in my opinion, and I don't think I would have thought twice about it. But it's a black, blue, and 3 human pirate 3/3. This gets +1/+1 for each artifact you control, and you can pay a black and blue and 2 to get a treasure artifact token. So here's what I like about it. First off, if you do happen to play this in a artifact heavy deck, this thing comes in potentially as a large creature. That's kind of sweet, right? And for 5 mana, there's a ton of value here. And if you're not in an artifact heavy deck, well, this thing can make the artifacts for you. In fact, it can make artifacts that can be sacrificed for mana of any color. So it helps with fixing, helps with ramp. There's just a lot happening here for the casting cost, I think. And also, too, the activated ability does not tap the creature, so it's a mana sink. I mean, if you have 8 mana, you can make 2 of these artifacts, and this goes from a 3/3 to a 5/5 immediately, and you have expendable mana if you need it. Like, that's kind of insane, right? So this card feels really good to me. I feel like the power level here is good enough to see standard play. This is going to be really awesome in Commander. I could imagine doing some crazy things with artifacts and this in Commander, and even some ramp, perhaps, and color fixing in that format. So I really like what this card is. And again, really surprised that this is an uncommon. I feel like it just could have been a rare very easily. Dire Fleet Captain. This is a black and red Orc Pirate 2/2, another uncommon. This attacks, it gets +1/+1 until end of turn for each attacking pirate. Maybe not as impressive as some of the other uncommons we've seen today, but it's okay. It's a 2-drop, granted it's 2 different colors, that can be awkward sometimes, but still a 2/2 drop with upside, so I like it, and I'd be happy to pick this up, maybe middle of the pack. It's definitely a card that, if you're in Pirates, is certainly playable. If you're not in Pirates, it's not quite as good, and as long as you're not really desperate for a 2-drop, let's say you have enough 2-drops or just 1 color, then maybe you skip this one, but it's a fine card, I think, for sealed and for draft. Alright, next we have a card that comes to us from a Chinese simplified language spoiler. Loosely translated, Thundering Behemoth. It's a white, a green, and 5 dinosaur, 4/6. Each creature you control assigns combat damage equal to its toughness rather than its power. So it's kind of like a mini Daren. Keep in mind, when you attack a block with it, it kind of feels more like 6/6, so that's a thing. But here's what's a little awkward about the card for me. And I get it, this is an uncommon, and right now I'm probably going to compare it to some rares, but we have seen some really streamlined, super efficient mono green creatures in the set. And then this one makes you pay white and isn't quite as efficient as those, and that feels weird to me. But again, like I said, this is an uncommon. I do have to adjust my expectations. It's going to be just fine sometimes in sealed or in draft if you're just desperate for a large creature. You need something higher end of the curve, something that's going to come in and be big, and unfortunately this doesn't give you trample or anything. The ability itself sometimes will be a plus, sometimes it'll be a minus. If you have lower toughness creatures and maybe higher power creatures on the battlefield or in your pool, then I don't know, all of a sudden this card becomes worse. So it's not always going to make your cut, but sometimes you'll just need it for limited play and it will be fine, I think, in at least certain decks. Alright, with that being said, those are the cards for today. So I'll keep watching this week to see if more cards are revealed. I feel like they'll probably taper off, though, a little bit, and they'll start trying to save something for the actual 2 preview weeks that are coming up. And also for HasCon, I know they're going to show some cards there as well. So I'd be surprised if we keep getting a lot of cards. Although I do feel like this is what the preview season is going to look like this time. A lot of uncommons, things of that nature, because so many of the rares were spoiled yesterday, and of course were originally spoiled in the leak, unfortunately. But until next time, hey, thanks for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe, and have a great day. Hey, thanks for watching. This video is made possible by the generous support of viewers like you on Patreon. Check out the description below for links to our Patreon page as well as our Amazon affiliate store, where a small percentage of all sales will also help support the channel. Finally, if you haven't had a chance yet to subscribe, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any new videos on Heroes and Legends. Talk to you again soon, and have a great day.